Welcome to the channel. It's KK Blue with MTG Mango back with another video. Today we have a super wacky awesome deck. This one I have a lot of fun with. There's like 5 different combos in the deck. So I'll start with a few. So first it's a Lotus Field deck. Got our 4 Lotus Field down here. So it taps for 3. So Kyora is very good with it, because you can tap it for 3, play Kyora, and then -1 Kyora and just untap it. So it's like Kyora costs 0 mana. But also it has the minus to basically add 3 mana to your mana pool, so it's super OP here. And then we have Mizzix Master. Well, other things with Lotus Field to start. We have 2 Stifle to counter our Lotus Field trigger if we want to turn 2 Lotus Field. And for turn 3 Lotus Field, we have 3 Discontinuity. Discontinuity can also come in handy later because, especially with the Fairy and Lotus Field, you can cast Discontinuity very easily because it's untap 2 lands. If you untap 2 Lotus Fields, super OP, just Discontinuity into a second turn. The other thing is that Discontinuity, we just end up having a lot of mana because this is a control combo build. And so we have a lot of things to hold off the opponent. So it'll just take extra turns. So for holding off the opponent, we have 1 Sweltering Sun. This is really nice because you can cycle it. But it doesn't get rid of everything. So that's why it's one of. Yeah. It's not as good as Anger of the Gods usually. But this has cycling, which is really sweet here, and we tend to really need that. So that's why I'm playing Sweltering Sun instead. 1 Day of Judgment, one Day of Judgment, 1 Wrath of Gods. It's the same thing. Just one of them says they can't be regenerated, but that is irrelevant in Historic, I think. 2 Doomscar. This is nice because you can foretell it. The one downside to foretell here, that's why I'm not playing 4 of instead of the Day of Judgment and Wrath of Gods, is because if you foretell, you can't discard to a Faithful Mending or a Faithless Looting if you then don't need it later. But you can turn 3 it, which is really nice in Historic because there's turn 3 wins, which are ridiculous. There's turn 3, turn 4 wins, so sometimes you need that turn 3 Doomscar. Now, for the Mizzix Mastery, Faithful Mending, Faithless Looting, well, to start with the Lotus Field things, like, if you're not going to use your Stifle, you can just discard it to Faithless Looting or Faithful Mending, because that's, like, there's 7 in the deck, you're going to hit it. Now, for the part of the deck that is Mizzix Mastery. What we're kind of trying to do here, we have all these like super high mana cost spells. Genesis Ultimatum is like a draw 5, put 2 permanents that are usually lands, but sometimes they're like you hit a Teferi or a Kyora. But it's still really OP because drawing in this deck is super nice. Because you're gonna have like a lot of mana with Lotus Field. So you can actually end up casting ultimatums. Like, I know you'll need 2 Lotus Fields for Emergent Ultimatum. That's why it's a 2 of as opposed to a 4 of. But it's really OP with Mizzix Mastery. Here's why. Like, this combo is actually insane. So, say you get 1, so it's with Mind's Desire. Say you get 1 Mind's Desire in the graveyard. Still have a Mizzix Mastery in your deck. Sometimes you don't need it in your graveyard. Sometimes you just cast it with Emergent Ultimatum and then get it in your graveyard. But then now I'll show you how the combo works. So, you Mizzix Mastery Emergent Ultimatum. Emergent Ultimatum, you go fetch Mind's Desire. You're usually against a creature deck. You could put like something good against control. So you get Mind's Desire, Mizzix Mastery. And then if it's a control deck, you get Thought Distortion, which is really nice because they can't counter it. And then you basically they exile their whole hand. If it's an aggro deck, you get Wrath of the Gods or Day of Judgment or Doomscar. Doomscar if it's the late game because then it starts to get worse. So they're gonna pick either the Thought Distortion or the Day of Judgment, depending on which deck you're against. Then here's the combo, because they don't see it. You start by Mizzix Mastery targeting Mind's Desire, and then you cast your Mind's Desire without paying its mana cost. So, the thing about this is that you'll start by having triggers for each spell you cast. So you Mizzix Mastery plus Emergent Ultimatum plus Mizzix Mastery, so there's 4 Mind's Desire triggers. Then you hit another Mind's Desire, and that's 5 Mind's Desire triggers. Now, off this, you can hit any number of things. Often you hit an Ultimatum or a Magma Opus, but sometimes whatever they put back in the deck, whether it's Day of Judgment, Doomscar, or Thought Distortion, you end up casting anyway. Sometimes you need to gain life, so sometimes you'll hit this, and then they'll put that away. But sometimes you just get this, and it's just really nice. Because against aggro decks, or against decks that just gain you life, that just deal you damage. I meant deal you damage. This is just super nice, because you can create a 2/2, and then for things like where I need Teferi in my hand, or I need Kaiora in my hand. Like, you can get those back into your hand, which is really nice. I don't usually use that function. But usually I either proliferate so I can minus Teferi, which is really nice. But usually I just go with some 2/2 cats, and I gain 4 life, so I can get my life back, and do another, and just combo off again. Overall, I think this is like, also Magma Opus can let me combo on turn 3 if I turn 1 Faithless Looting, turn 2 discard Magma Opus, turn 3 like Mizzix Mastery targeting Emergent Ultimatum, Genesis Ultimatum, Inspired Ultimatum, any number of things, even Mind's Desire, and then I can hit sometimes you Mind's Desire into an Emergent Ultimatum and then hit another Mind's Desire and a Mizzix Mastery, and then just combo from that. It's really nice. For like wacky combo decks, I think this is like an actually good, like, I've been playing this ranked, and it's like actually really good. So as far as wacky combo decks go, if you want to build something like this, I think this is the list. Thank you, and let's dive in.
make a splash. something truly spectacular. Nature flows with vigor. Love to make a splash. Ripples and grows. moving.